Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is on the night after the arrival of the Zamisi, and following Angelique having gone to speak with her friend Alistair. Both of them have decided to visit with Tassilo Host because he has a sparkly aura that is very suspicious, but they don't think that it is what it might seem to be. There's only one way to find out, though, so they make their way towards Tassilo's mausoleum to have a talk with him in person. You do realise that's backwards. Okay, anyway.
Dum dum dum. Okay, so you make your way up to Silos Haven. It's a pretty big mausoleum, actually. There's a gigantic door, which you encounter. It's closed. You knock on the door. You knock on the door. There's. You don't hear anything, but a few moments later, it opens like. A lot of creaking and a lot of noise.
And Alistair is just looking.
There is nobody there.
Tassilo. No. I don't think he's home.
And yet the door opened.
Ah, maybe I said the magic word. Alakazam.
Maybe. But I doubt he would leave it unlocked if he wasn't at home.
Since I can't see anyone though, I'm gonna make a or perception check. Because I'm like, what the fuck?
Cool.
This is not supposed to work. Or it's supposed to be. So that's perception and the 8. Let's see. Oh yeah. If there is anything in terms of aura,
You see auras floating around.
Also, do I see a lot of weak auras?
There are a lot of weak, shimmering.
Oh, yeah, because weak is for ghosts. So, also actually starts to giggle. Oh, lovely.
Angelique will look curious, but won't actually kind of comment on his giggling.
It seems our friend has been busy.
I see.
He must be in his study or something.
Do you make your way through the hallway?
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's a large hallway. There are some candles lighting it up, providing vision for everybody there. There are 2 doors. You can see light coming from underneath underneath the opening of one of them.
If you want, I can make a perception awareness check to hear you, but I probably think I will.
Yeah, you're fine. You hear noise from the light, the room where the light is coming from.
No, I'll give up. Oh, well. Tassilo! You!
There is the movement of a chair, a few footsteps, and the door before you will open, and the hooded, cloaked figure of Tassilo will stand there. Ah, hello.
Surprise!
I do not believe I invited anyone.
We were hoping to speak with you, if you are not too busy.
No, no. And he turns to his right side. Michael, why didn't you tell me they were here?
Can I still see the?
Yep, there's shimmering weak auras all around.
And Alistair's just going to look in the general direction. Yes, Michael. Why didn't you tell us? Him. Well, one of the two.
Very well. Step inside, please.
Much appreciated.
And coming into the room, there's a rows of books. There's a table.
Angelique will actually go over to look at the books.
A lot of them have details on different plants. Some of them are of the old medicine. Some of them are history books. Some of them are texts.
She finds one with a particularly interesting spine and pulls it out to look at it. Clearly distracted.
Do you actually pay attention to the content?
Well, I might be curious out of character, but in character she is mostly looking at the way that it's been written, the gorgeous little inlays that they have on the illuminated letters, all of the pictures.
A lot of plants.
A lot of plants. Nice pictures.
Yes.
But yes, so she is clearly quite distracted.
Tassilo will go over to her and he will clear his throat.
Yep, she's still quite distracted. You might have to actually tap her on the shoulder.
Mr. Host, if you wouldn't mind, I believe our dear Essential is a bit...
Tassilo will place a hand
distracted.
on her shoulder and then another hand on the book itself.
And she'll look up. Oh, my apologies.
This is
She'll hand over the book to him.
Thank you. Now, please sit down. And there are a couple of chairs across the table.
She will. She'll take a nice seat.
Well then, what would you wish to speak about?
Well, given the concerns regarding the bloodline in our city, I hate to be indelicate, but you have a rather interesting aura.
I have been told this before.
We do not suspect you because you are clearly quite a respectable man, but it would seem unwise to overlook such an obvious clue without some discussion.
Interesting. Do you know what my aura looks like, then?
It is quite brilliant.
4 successes.
Sparkly sparkleness!
Yes, and she saw the sparkles yesterday, so...
Yeah. When you can also see, because I assume you're using Soul Sight.
I haven't rolled mine yet, actually.
Okay. Tassilo's aura is a calm aura.
So
There's
like
it's just calm. Just nothing else going on in there.
Cool.
which is kind of interesting because I had many successes. So he'll just be like, yes, I see a light blue. It sparkles like reflections on this of the sun.
Have you perhaps heard about mortal magi?
Not a great deal.
Difficulty like 8 or 9. I have no clue what you're talking about. Ah, yes.
Have you perhaps ever observed the aura of a mortal magi?
Ah, wait.
You'll shake her head.
I think I know this answer. Sparkly.
They have the touch of magic within their aura. The same way that I do. It could be that perhaps I once was a mortal magi. However, I do not remember anything of my mortal life, which is a shame. Oh well.
Ah, my good Tassilo. It doesn't. I'm sad to hear that you actually were perhaps a mortal magi, because I believe weren't those Jameer also blood magic users?
Perhaps. However, the clan of death discipline of mortals is also a form of magic.
I see. I had thought it might be something of the kind, something with an explanation to it, but
Well,
I'm
to
sure
be
you
fair,
understand we couldn't just ignore the matter.
of course, and to be fair, my fellow members of the clan of death do not always have the same. There are a few which have some of the myriad sparkles, however, those are back in the baronies of Avalon.
Mr. Host, do you mind if we gaze upon your visage?
Certainly not. And he can guess what you're about to do, so he will take off the hood, and underneath is a face that kind of looks like a man in his 40s, maybe?
But then all bony.
All bony and all white.
And he's gonna be like beep, 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 trying to see if he can pierce your obfuscate.
Which he doesn't have.
Which he doesn't have. So he's thinking, well, either he's really strong, or he doesn't have obfuscate, and this is your face. It seems this is your true face.
It most certainly is. You can see why I wear this hood, correct?
Yes. Well, I am convinced.
Very well. What about yourself, Lady Seneschal?
As I said, I had no doubt to begin with, but if we hadn't investigated and someone else was to notice your aura and ask us, well, how would we respond?
And now we respond with certainty.
Very well. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Perhaps, yes. Do you have an idea who this Chumia might be?
These Tremere have their own form of magic. They have their abilities, or so we are told, of soul sight and domination. I would guess that either they are keeping very low and are imitating another blood, or they are simply hiding themselves, not doing anything obvious. Perhaps they are.
Yes.
They if they're smart, they would play the average Joe game for now. Just do not draw attention to yourself.
Yes. I've noticed in my vision that they are in plain sight, moving from place to place, like sand to your fingers.
Could this perhaps mean that they have joined with the mountain?
The mountain.
That would be quite worrisome.
How do you mean?
There is a line of blood that calls themselves Assamite.
Yes, we had considered those for the meaning behind the sand, but we do not know any openly Assamite.
Of course not. If you were to know openly known Assamite, that would probably destroy you.
Yes, which makes it rather an oblique clue to attempt to utilize.
Troublesome. But if they're hiding in plain sight, then they are playing the average person.
In which case, beyond the three of us here, and the prince, who presumably would exclude any Zemisi threat were she the premier, we cannot truly count on anyone.
No, I would very much consider the Nosferatu to be out of suspicion as well. Their broods, as they call it, are very tightly knit.
Very true.
I would find it very peculiar if the Nosferatu.
And were they to be standing in plain sight, that would not apply to the Nosferatu either.
Not one bit.
Worrisome indeed. Oh, the Nosferatu can hide in plain sight, which is also interesting.
Very true.
However, the same goes for any clan with the discipline of obfuscate.
There are too many possibilities, far, far too many unknowns. And what is more worrying than the fact that one amongst our very midst could be of some unknown bloodline is what we would do when we find them.
I would very much like to have a conversation with him.
Well, our good friend Mr. Bolton and myself are somewhat of the same mind.
I do not get me wrong. I valued the Count's opinions very highly. However, these are not his lands. If this is a new blood, and even if they are usurpers, they bring new knowledge, something that we have never heard about. It would be foolish of us to just plainly ignore it.
Or to turn them over with no discussion ourselves to some outsider that just shows up and insists that he should have the right to them. Not to mention his blithe and open discussion, however euphemistic, of his tendency towards torture.
Well, the fiends are fiends.
Precisely. And to turn someone over to that, we must be certain that he is in the right of it. And I do not think on one person's word, however well regarded, that we can be certain of this.
Very true, very true. There's also the matter, of course, that the Count has a certain thought of these usurpers, since after all they stole his clan's blood,
Very true.
is what we're hearing from him.
Which is one side of a matter that has taken place goodness knows how many miles from here, and yet we're supposed to drop everything to help him. I can only hope that he grows tired of the city and moves on.
Well, actually, I think I need to make a roll from what I'm about to say. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, the particular curse of his blood would not be good for him to stay here.
As I said, we can but hope he grows tired. In the meantime, be quite cautious ourselves in seeking out this individual.
Very well. I would recommend one thing. Because sparkles manifest themselves by those magic touched. However, I've seen Magi turned into Kenites, and the sparkles, the myriad glow within the aura disappeared.
I see. Which makes it rather less reliable.
Quite.
Still something to keep an eye out for, but not an absolute in and of itself.
No.
But then there is very little that can be considered absolute.
Most certainly.
Well, I'm happy to hear that everything is in order regarding yourself, Mr. Host.
Well, thank you both for telling me this and openly sharing this with me.
Well, as someone that I'm sure both of us can respect, despite the differences in status, I would very much hope that should you find anything, that you will feel comfortable discussing it with us as well.
Very much so.
Perhaps it might be best not to discuss these little conversations with the prince until we have something worth mentioning.
I would recommend that you would discuss this in a very safe and secure location. And he points around. Everything here has eyes and ears.
Which could prove quite useful.
Yes, however, most of them do not pay much attention. I've only had dear Michael here help me with some things.
Well, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose, or however they say it.
Indeed.
Very true.
My
But we will
lady,
have to work on this more later. I fear we have kept you for your studies for too long already.
Well, it's been a pleasure seeing you both again.
And Angelique will nod her head politely and rise.
followed by Alistair, gives a nod. Until we see each other again.
Very well. Michael here will both show you out, or escort you.
Ah, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And with that, the door opens.
And Alistair will actually start a conversation with Michael. Very one-sided conversation.
Very one-sided, I think, yes.
Ah, so how do you like being dead? Etc., etc.
And I think we will end the scene there.
Yep.